to be honest, we had it already, Viviana. I'm not judging them and saying, okay, I need to judge them in a different way because they're a woman. If what I would like to judge is the personality, the motivation, the vision, how they lead their teams and the results.
Neue Folgen jeden Freitag. In dieser digitalen Welt gibt es einen speziellen Faktor, der über Erfolg und Misserfolg entscheidet: Daten. Doch nur die wenigsten wissen sie für sich zu nutzen. Wer seine Kunden verstehen will, um ihnen das bieten zu können, was sie brauchen, kommt um ein professionelles Datenmanagement nicht herum. Jonas Rashedi interviewt andere Experten aus den Data-Bereichen und zeigt Schritt für Schritt, wie genau das funktioniert.
Welcome to a new episode of My Data is Better Than Yours. My topic or my episodes and podcast is about data Slake, data hub, data whatever, all relevant buzzwords for data. It's a pleasure to introduce Viviana. Welcome, Viviana.
Okay, so hi, Jonas. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Viviana. I'm head of data for parcelLab. I come originally from Ecuador, but I'm based right now here in Germany. My background is supply, e-commerce, and all around that. And of course, a lot of data analytics on the way.
When we check my episodes and if we and have a split between male and female, I think the current situation is not as good as I would wish it. Because the situation is that currently it seems like, additional to my episode or podcast, the market as well, that we miss a lot of females in the data and tech part, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's totally true. The thing it's more about discussing why actually this is happening is in the tech environment is even, I think that you can visualize it even stronger, but also in lead. I think that tech lead is also a strong area where it could be more related to the balance between men and women.
Yeah, but so let's dive deeper into it. What do you think could be the reason why females are missing in the data part? What could be a good step to ensure that we increase the female part?
Yeah, I think that it obviously depends on the cultural aspects of where we are talking about. It could be stronger, yes or not. But I also I think that it has to be a lot with the access to some resources, either if it's studies, because in some cases, most of the paths start with studying computer science or an engineering path, which is the normal way to start, or the let's say, more traditional way to start. Others have started in the business area, and there we can find more women. I think that this is regarding to maybe the access to those resources at the beginning. And later on, I think that is something related more to confidence or to get the chance to try themselves. What is this about? That is not a men world.
Yeah, but to be honest, in my opinion, is that that women or females are more neat, right? Is it the right word?
I don't know.
So they are more strict on what they can do. They are more they are more confident to find the real data, that they have a really good structure on things instead of men. I think we are more or less sometimes a bit, we love the chaos, right? And women are more,
yeah,
is that the right word?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the right word, but I think that I get your point. I think that you made it. I think men can survive. I think that men could survive easier in a chaotic environment, and women we tend to solve everything. So we need to when we find chaos, our nature maybe is to solve first and to try to find some level of structure or balance, and then when everything is organized, then we can work. It's kind of maybe a point where we are different. That could be That's true. As you said, I have found also in my career that the women tend to go more deeply into the root cause of the problems, into analyzing the issues that they are handling with. Yeah, that's true.
You mentioned that the reason is that they are not able to get the resources, or the groundwork is missing for females. I think it's is to be honest, if I'm currently checking, for example, Douglas, there are a lot of females in the marketing sector or department. And to be honest, in my department, it's more or less 50-50. Or a 60-40, more females. I think that's amazing, and that's really, really good. Yeah, sometimes I think we should attract more. For example, sometimes woman get a child, right? Or a woman gets a child. So open more different ways of working, right? So that you are able to work part-time, that you could be a leader in a part-time job and stuff like that.
Yeah, to be honest, even leaving that aside the personal part of the difference between a man and a woman, I think that we said about the access to the resources. When I mean the access to the resources, I mean more like it doesn't come to your mind to start a career like, I think, or it comes more to the mind of a man to start a career in engineering than normally a woman. And this is something that I think you can see in every faculty, in every university, in every environment of developers or data scientists or data analysts. I'm happy, and I celebrate that, for example, in marketing and in other areas, this is already broken, and you can see a lot of women, and this is amazing. From my experience, the more technical that I recruit for a specific profile, the most difficult it gets to have women applying for it. I can give you an example right now. I recruit for data scientist, data engineer, and a data analyst. Most of the women, let's start from the data analyst. Normally, it has more as a profile, a deep understand of the business needs, and obviously capacity and skills to interpret the data. And then you find a bigger or a higher amount of women applying. When you go to data scientists, you have a little bit less women apply. And when you go to data engineer, you have almost none women applying. I have a very interesting case. I don't know if we should
Go
discuss,
ahead.
But this is a very interesting example. I had one woman applying for data analyst. I really liked her CV. I thought that she has enough experience and enough knowledge to apply for the role for data engineer. So I offered to her to go into the process of data engineer. Her immediate answer was, "I don't think that I'm ready for that. I don't think that I will perform as you expect. I would prefer to go for data analyst." And then I realized, hey, this is something. I see her skills. I have talked to her, so I know that she knows about it. I know that she has the skills that she has presented, and I have seen her experience. So it's clear for me that she has it, but she doesn't believe it. And then considering this, I realized that, and I read a little bit deep about this, that men, I don't want to offend men, but men tend to overestimate what they're capable of. And women, on the other hand, they tend to underestimate. And that happens very often. And that obviously at the end, it goes with fake it until you make it sometimes. Everybody knows that at some point, it's almost impossible that you know everything related to your career or everything related to your role. It's almost impossible, especially at the beginning. And what happens is that those gaps, you need to fill it on the way with experience, and that's quite normal. And women, as soon as they realize that there may be a few gaps, they just back out. They just go back and they decide no to go for it. And I have seen that men tend to approach those challenges with more self-confidence. And this is what I wish I could see more in women, I think. And I hope that this will change, besides obviously opportunities and cultural aspects that goes along this.
I think sometimes, and it's amazing that I'm able to discuss such a topic with a woman, so that's good. So I can get direct feedback. I think sometimes women are too shy, as you said. I think in Germany you say, don't put your light under your chair. It's more or less, don't underestimate yourself. To be honest, if you are able, from your skills and methods you've learned, if you are able to take the data engineer role and you need to develop within the role and you need to learn something, don't worry, go ahead and ensure, because no senior or expert comes directly without any learnings, right? So and I think the men, as you said, they are always, let's say, not really overestimating them, but they are taking the advantage to get into the role.
Yeah, it could be. In this point, it's talking about this topic is not easy, because you try to be always like, we try to be politically correct, and we try to obviously don't standardize what the women or men are, and this is not easy. This is more like from the experience and from what we see, of course, what we say. Yes, I have seen it along my career. I have seen it while discussing negotiating salary, negotiating positions, career development, in recruiting processes, in interviews in general, and in presentations, high-level management presentations. I have seen that the confidence is something that is still, for women, is still not widely developed and widely accessed, in some way not so practiced by women. And this is what I'm willing and hoping to see more in the future, to see more women like stepping ahead and trying to show all the skills that they have, and also be confident of what they know. And in the case that what they do not, that they realize that it comes with experience and with time, and that it's also, I see that maybe women expect that, or think that somebody else expect them to perform perfectly, as men accepted it could be some mistakes on the way. And this is I don't want to talk that much about the difference, because it could be delicate.
Yeah, I think what we should do is, if the first step could be push the confidence of females, and again, let's, as you said, let's don't standardize our words, but if it could be the first step to push the confidence, let's define something like skill level assessment, like mentoring program and stuff like that, so to ensure that we could push the confidence of the females, of the woman, to get into the jobs. Because we need, to be honest, we are currently so we need as much as possible in all roles, right? To be honest, the market is asking for people, and we should ensure that all people or that all roles could be fitted with the right persons.
Yeah, and all that comes with the female personality, and with it's another point of view, and obviously it makes very rich this type of teams, those tech teams. And this is where I think that the value stays on this of including or making more inclusive environment. I would like to ask you how, because you have achieved like 50% almost, or how is, and one question that I had very often in discussion with our recruiters, our team of recruiting is quite good, And they have always asked me how actually is this is difficult to not be biased about when you have in a process 1 woman and 4 men, and how have you achieved not preferring the woman just because she's a woman, because this is also not correct. It's not about preferring a woman because it's a woman, but giving the opportunity also to a woman and try to reach more women. How do you make it, or just it just happened to be that you were likely to have 50-50?
To be honest, I'm not really deciding who will be the right person. The teams decide that. I said it should be a team fit and it should be a skill fit. And we more or less doing training days or a test day. And there are more or less 3 or 4 tasks per day. And half an hour, not 1 hour, a direct meeting with all relevant peers without a leadership role, and they could ask all questions and be very open. So that's a very, very good way to do a meeting. And after that, at the end of the day, I'm always doing my brain teaser stuff. And then after that, I more or less what I could do is say no, but if they say yes and I say okay, could be a fit, then we go ahead. So the team decides based on what they talked within the half an hour and based on the skills. And I think that, as you said, that matters at the end. It's not about putting more women or more men into a role to ensure that there's a 50-50 situation or whatever. It's more or less that it could fit.
Yeah, that's I see it like exactly the same. And I don't know how you, I don't know if it's actually it's a topic that you approach in the team. Like, do you approach, because obviously you have managers who are also recruiting, and obviously the people's team and so on, and they are part of this process in our case as well. So we have even until a peer interview at the end of the process. So it is clear that they're going to have contact with different people in the team along the process. But this is a topic that you speak with within the team. I'm coached by one VP of data from a big retailer, and he asked me why the way to not do it a topic is just not talking about. It's like, if it's not a topic if it's a man or a woman. He was trying to question it in this, are we doing more of this a topic just by talking it? And as long, it doesn't matter how long I think about it. I think that we have achieved these opportunities because we have spoke about it. I think that it's important to keep speaking about it. It's important. It's not about, obviously, no type of looking for this male-female differentiation or gender. Not at all. It's more about the inclusivity and more talking about why we don't have that many applicants for technical roles as in the male case. And I think this is the topic, right? I don't know if you will speak about that.
Yeah, I think it's wrong not to talk about that topic, or let's say not be transparent about that. But to be honest, I think it's define what really matters. If there's a person or a man or a woman who have the ground skills to fit within for a data engineer, data analyst, data scientist role, don't worry. We could ensure that you learn the tools, that you more or less learn the things, how to do it within the role. So you could start as junior, you could start as intermediate and senior, and then go ahead. It's nothing about it. We could do the same with the culture thing, right? Or the nationality. Why it could be only German people in the team? But if you don't talk about it, but if you say, okay, it could help us a lot if we have someone outside from Germany and stuff like that. It's more or less the same. It could be a very political topic we are currently more or less discussing, right? It's
Yeah, I think that in that area is not the main purpose of the discussion. I think that it's about really tackling the reasons why women do not decide also to apply to these roles, or are not interested. Maybe, I don't know if they're not interested, or they do not have these resources available to start preparation for these roles, for example. I have heard in the last months about many initiatives to dedicate many tech companies that have invested on scholarships to offer degrees, like from 6 months, 1 year, with different companies, from training programs where they offer it specifically for women, for example, to become data scientists, to become data architect, and so on, or software developer. And they offer these training programs just dedicated for women, where women have access, and they, at the end, the company is able to recruit from that group. That's a very concrete initiative. I don't know if you have part of those type of experience, maybe.
No. I think we should do something like that, right? Offer things to all people, not let's say not split people into, or humans into gender, into nationality and stuff like that. It's more or less ensure. But to be honest, I think our role and our mission as leaders should be, if there's someone who is shy, if there's someone who's not really confident to do it, and you have the feeling that this person could do it, then don't matter if female or male, or go ahead, push this person, help the person to develop with the personality, to develop the business skills, and then go ahead. That should be amazing.
Yeah, that would be great. I think that those companies have decided to invest on those programs due to also the lack of women applying for these roles. I can imagine. I have been in contact with one of the companies who is providing these trainings, and there was even programs related to the specific vulnerable groups of women. And there was quite interesting, because for those programs you don't need to have previous studies, and I think that this is where it starts, maybe the availability of the resources. And this is one point for me where I think that it could make for women, the programs who are destined for women could be interesting. I'm not sure if that's the case, but this is maybe one point to be explored. In any ways. Anyways, sorry, I don't know. I wanted to ask you, because for me it would be interesting to know, what do you think that when in an interview there's a difference between a woman applying for, when you have a recruiting process, that you can say a woman can do differently in a recruiting process that gives her more chances, or that makes it different from a man?
I think don't be shy. I think that's the most important thing. But to be honest, I'm not sure what your opinion is about the thing that I think data guys and women, they are more or less shy and not really. They are not playing the drums in a meeting. It's more or less about I think they don't be shy, and to be honest, be very transparent. So if there's anything, and you it could be that situation that you say, okay, I think if you check my skills, if you check my methods, if you did a test day, and if the employee says, okay, we can go ahead, the potential team lead or director says, okay, I think it makes totally sense, then go ahead. Don't underestimate yourself. If the person on the other side already checked different persons and say, okay, you could be a perfect fit.
Yeah, that's a good point, and for me, it will be exact the same, and that has to be reflected in the confidence. It's important, and this is maybe my whole point regarding to women in tech is to be more confident and to dare to do things that maybe originally they believed they cannot, and to have this confidence of trying, and also to believe in what they can perform. Maybe it would be a good advice to overestimate themselves.
Yeah, or be realistic, right? Be realistic to say, okay, I'm currently here, but with the help of trainings and coaching and mentoring and stuff like that, I could grow, and then it could be a perfect fit. And I think if you start as a junior or intermediate, and even if you start as a senior, there's always a knowledge gap. Always.
This is from your experience. There is like more roles where you can see, like in my experience, I told you already, where I can see that there are more women applying or more women interested on being part of like data analyst or BI analyst. There is something that from more the data focus on marketing that there is preferred by women.
I think, in my opinion, sometimes is that women are more interested in creative jobs because you are not really able to judge if it's good or not. Oh, that's a hard fact. I'm not sure if I'm now getting hard feedback on that, but it's more or less that could be the situation. But to be honest, I'm leading 4 directs, and 2 of them. No, I'm leading 5 directs, and 2 of them, 3 of them are women.
And what did they lead? What type of process?
One did a really great job from developing from a senior data analyst into a team lead for business reporting or business intelligence reporting for our whole group. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. We have one team lead which did a great job for the digital analytics part, developing from a whole small team into a larger team, in developing into a wider topics, something like deeper analysis, advanced analytics, and stuff like that. And yeah, and one is a project manager, and she's doing a great job for data activation. And yeah. To be honest, we had it already, Viviana. I'm not judging them and saying, okay, I need to judge them in a different way because they're a woman. If what I would like to judge is the personality, the motivation, the vision, how they lead their teams, and the results.
That's a good tip. That's amazing tip. That's amazing tip. And maybe it's just about how we communicate that in the process of applying, of negotiating our career development. Maybe it's that's a very good tip, how we communicate our motivation, how we communicate the way that we lead. And maybe there is something that we can improve. And I think that this is a 2 ways. It's not only for the companies, also obviously to hear what women for opportunities should be given for women, but it's also for women to hear how we can also get this gap narrow. And I think that's a good tip. In the case, I think that what you said about the responsibilities of the leaders that you're managing, I can see this pattern again of a lot of business understanding behind. So a lot of analysts who are able to deliver insights for the business, for business decisions. And I see also in terms of what they like most, that women tend to like more giving insights for the business, understanding the needs of the business and interpret the data into that. That's what I see also in my case.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, how do you think that it's going to be in the future? Like, do you think that...
I have a daughter. She's 4 years, and I would wish that she will not be judged on her gender, that she will be judged on her personality, on the way how she's more or less treating other people, to be honest. And she should be a good should get come on, she should get a good future, right? And that should be the situation, to be honest. We should not. Yeah, I think sometimes we need to be more aggressive on tasks to ensure that it's 50-50. But after that, we should ensure be transparent on things, but not tackle them as a very important topic. So then it's fair. Then it should be fair. And in best case, in my daughter 4, so then in 15 years or 20 years, my daughter could choose a job or a role and go ahead without thinking about, could I fit into the role because I'm a woman.
Yeah, or that she could have the opportunities to apply if she wants, the opportunity also, and the access to the education or the resources that she needs to accomplish on a specific desire in her career, right? And at the end, it's about doing what you love or finding what you really would like to do the rest of your life, kind of. And I also have read a lot about this new trend or the idea of always all this topic here in Germany, for example, about digitalization and about maybe teaching even in school, from ground school, teaching programming. One example. Do you think that this will give, like, having access to tech experiences at a very early age? And now you have a girl, obviously very young. Then do you think that having contact with these tech experiences will give them more interest in the future to go to these areas instead of maybe other more preferred areas?
Yeah. So yeah, you're totally right. If you the more or less the guys are as a teenager, they're playing around with PlayStation, Xbox, or gaming on the PC. So they're more or less learning tech on a gamification level, and I think that's missing for women. But to be honest, if I'm talking now to our family and to the girls, which are more, let's say, 16 or 18, and if I'm asking them question about TikTok or Instagram, I see that I'm now an old guy because they are more confident and play. Yes,
they will.
They know more the techniques.
Yes, they will know everything. I can assure you. I'm 30. I'm 35. 35 almost. No, I'm 36. Oh my God, it's 2 weeks ago. Yes, I'm 36, and I can feel that I'm totally out when it's about TikTok and everything. But you can realize that this contact with technology increases, and you can see right now when you talk about gaming. Yes, you're right. The boys have a very early age contact with games, with the Xbox and so on. And I have seen a lot of women right now online doing even streaming, like while they are gaming, and they are quite successful even. And I really consider that part of this change and part of the opportunities and to increase the interest is that they have us in a younger age contact with us. How do you think that data is going to change the business also for women in other areas? Because right now we know that data is being used, obviously data-driven decisions everywhere in the businesses. But do you think that it's going to change also other areas where more women are being involved? You're in beauty, of course. In beauty, it's already like you can see not only data, but you can see also augmented reality, mixed reality, and so on. Do you think that they will be in other areas, like, I don't know, more related to art, or in other areas getting inside as big part of this?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I think to become data driven, it's really hard, and the tech sector has already let's say situations where they need to, or problems they need to solve to get data driven, yeah, and that should be solved in the first step to ensure that we can then go ahead and think about creative things. But again, for that, the more or less the development in the social media part and stuff like that, they will more or less learn the things when they grow up, and that could be the new normal for them. They will get the iPhone and, let's say, do a photo of their face, and then they could play around with makeup. They can play around with new hairs, or they do a photo of their body, and they can play around with let's say new clothes, and they could do a personality test based on data and see where they should develop, which things they should study, and stuff like that. I think that there will be, time by time, the data will be the ground for all things.
Yes, that's true. That's for sure. I'm quite interested about how it's going to be, how it's going to develop in different industries that we haven't seen before. And I think that there are quite of surprises when you see right now this NFT situation. Yep. This is just crazy. It's crazy. It's like I maybe some people have expected this. I didn't, and this is where I can see that maybe data at the moment people are concentrating data for business, data as a business, but it will come maybe some other big event related to data in the future. We will see new roles. Have you seen appearing new roles? Because I'm still involved in the let's call it traditional roles, and obviously in this process of recruiting and try to give the opportunity to women in those roles, analysts, engineer, have you come to the creation of new roles that didn't exist before in the data teams?
To be honest, if you state this question 5 years ago, data analyst and data engineer was not really a role, right?
Yeah, that's true. It was an analyst, basically.
Yeah, it would only analyst, and it's always like, I think the right name is T model, right? You have already going broader with things and then going deeper with things, and that's why now we dig deeper into the data stuff, and there will be new roles. I think, for example, there could be the data scientist. I think there are things missing, like artificial intelligence and machine learning. There will be new roles for them, because I think data scientists are related to, let's say, a bit deeper than data analyst, but there could be more. Like if you have a big data lake, unstructured data, we need someone who could handle the big data part, right? And there will be new roles for that, for sure.
Yes, I totally agree. I have seen for example, one clear example, you wrote this, the data scientist. The data scientist, we used to recruit data scientists. Right now, I'm thinking on recruiting for next year, machine learning engineers. Not data scientists. Data scientists, yes, we will keep recruiting, but machine learning engineers specifically. And this, as you said, like a few years ago, this was no way. It's like, first, it doesn't exist. So it didn't exist. And right now we're talking specifically about machine learning engineers. I think as the topics goes wider and it appears new techniques, new not only new models, but new way of handles that data and construct models, it also appears a lot of other world, and then it appears a new role. The machine learning engineer is one clear example that's happening right now. And Another thing that has happened to me in the last, talking about specifically recruiting in this data and analytics, it surprised me, because for 3 years ago, I didn't experience, is that for these 3 roles that I was telling you, data analyst, data scientist, and data engineer, I had a massive interest of people in data scientists, as data scientists, but massive.
Yeah.
Let's say 100 applications against 20 as data analysts. And that was the opposite. Yeah. Right now, as data analyst, it has become really like the new, I don't know if it happens to be right now the new developer role of these years, but it's incredible. And for data engineer, on the other hand, it's also not that in the spectrum, I think, of the applicants, or at least of the job market.
More or less my last questions, or no, I have 2 questions, to be honest. The one is about a movie title. If you need to describe your data job, which movie title you would like to choose? And the other one is you're doing a great job within data, more or less in the business environment. So how do you use data in your private life?
Okay, wow, cool questions. The first one, can I change the movie title for a no, actually it's a cool, but can I change the movie title for a song title?
Okay, do it.
Okay, so for me, the title would be Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah. And the other question was, how in my personal life, how do I leave data?
How do you how do you use data, more or less? I'm doing more or less a lot of sports, and I'm using my Garmin watch to track my heartbeat and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I also for sports. I love sports. I play tennis, and I do also some diving. And actually, I am doing. I'm starting a project this is part of my PhD research, but I'm very involved with some conservational projects and sustainability projects related to fishing. And in that part, I would say that this is part of my private, but in that area, I use data. I use data for everything, basically, but that would be a good example for things that I love: sports, diving, and some conservational projects.
I was impressed by the episode. I think that it was an amazing episode. Thanks, Viviana. So the more or less last sentence is for you.
Well, the last sentence, it will be: enjoy data, leave data, let data be. Girls want to have fun.
Yeah.